Do you know the one force in the entire universe that has never bowed to anyone, not once, not ever? Death. Death doesn't negotiate. Death doesn't soften. Death doesn't grant special treatment because you're kind, talented, important, spiritual, or loved. When your moment comes, it arrives with perfect timing, completes the transition, and keeps moving as if nothing happened. Because to death, nothing personal ever happens. But a few weeks ago, something happened with you that cracked a law that has held for 6,000 years. Death did something that contradicts its own nature. It respected you, and I'm not talking about death sparing you like a movie scene where someone gets lucky. I'm telling you, the most ruthless force in existence witnessed what you did and experienced something it almost never registers for a living human being. Recognition, not emotion, not sympathy, not mercy. Recognition, the kind that makes a system pause and recheck its own rules. Here's the part that might hit you in the chest. In all of human history, only 4 people have ever made death respond this way. 4 souls in 6,000 years. 3 of them are already gone. You're the 4th, and the only one alive carrying that mark right now. So listen closely. Subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications, because what I'm about to reveal about the moment you did something so impossible that even the most relentless entity in the cosmos had to acknowledge you will blow apart everything you thought you knew about who you are. Stay until the end, because I'm going to show you exactly what you did that caused this. How death reacted when it witnessed something that should not exist. Why only 4 people have ever achieved it. And what kind of devastating protection you just activated that makes you immune to premature death. Write 888 in the comments if you feel something in your life changed radically about a month ago and you're ready to understand why death itself decided you deserved respect. Now let's be precise. Death is not your enemy. Death is cosmic consciousness executing a function, processing transition between states with absolute accuracy. It does its work with zero personal preference. No emotional bias. No exceptions. For 6,000 years, death did not experience surprise because everything followed patterns. Humans are born. They live under the invisible dictatorship of fear. They make decisions filtered through survival instincts, and eventually they transition when their time is programmed, until you showed up as something the system couldn't categorize. A few weeks ago, your name began glowing differently in the cosmic archives. Not because your time is near, not because a countdown started, it glowed because you became an anomaly. Your energetic signature contradicted the human pattern under extreme stress, and that contradiction forced death to pause its operations, not out of compassion, but out of pure system-level confusion, to observe what in the world you were doing. You remember the night. You know exactly which night I mean. That night when everything collapsed at once. The betrayal you did not see coming. The brutal loss. The moment when what you built, what you trusted, what you thought was solid, shattered, and you were left alone with the wreckage of reality. It was early morning, somewhere between 2 and 5, a weekday. You were alone, probably in your room in the dark. Your mind kept looping the scene like a punishment. The exact words, the expression on their face. The split second where you understood you had lost something irreparable. And it didn't stay in your head, it went into your body. The pain became physical, your chest felt crushed, your stomach churned, your hands trembled, your nervous system processed trauma in real time like your body was trying to survive a disaster. At that moment, 99.9% of people collapse in one of 3 ways. Total denial. This can't be happening, because the brain refuses reality when it's too violent to digest. Paralyzing panic. The nervous system overloads until the person can't think, can't move, can't function. Or dissociative numbness. The brain shuts down emotion, disconnects, and creates psychological anesthesia so the mind doesn't break permanently. Those responses are automatic. They are not weakness. Their biological programming designed to prevent total collapse. But you did something different. You broke cosmic protocol. You breathed deeply. 3 slow breaths, deliberate, grounded, as if you were anchoring yourself to the present instead of running into panic. You cried if you needed to, but you didn't block the pain. You didn't pretend. You didn't numb. You let it move through you completely, like you were allowing the truth to burn through every layer of resistance. And then between 4 and 5 in the morning, you said something out loud. Not a cute affirmation, not fake positivity. Something raw and terrifyingly honest. Something like, "It's okay. This hurts more than I thought possible. I lost a lot, but I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna continue." That wasn't optimism. That was brutal acceptance of devastating reality plus a conscious decision not to collapse. Death observed that and registered confusion because in 6,000 years, it had rarely witnessed a human consciousness face total collapse without dissociating. You felt everything, you processed everything, and you chose to keep functioning. That was logged as resilience anomaly level 1, and death continued watching you. Then, days later, maybe a week, maybe 2, life placed you in front of an impossible decision. You know exactly which one. The kind where all options are painful, where there is no clean door, no easy path. Any choice was going to cost you something you valued deeply. Maybe it was a relationship. You loved the person, but the dynamic was poisonous. Staying meant continuing to bleed slowly. Leaving meant losing someone who mattered and tearing out a piece of your heart. Or it was financial. Doing what you knew was right risked your stability. Compromising your principles would have guaranteed security, or it was a confrontation. Staying silent preserved the illusion of peace. Speaking the truth risked detonating your entire life. You spent days running the numbers in your head. You imagined every scenario. You felt visceral fear, that gut-sick dread, the constant churn in your stomach. Your sleep got lighter. Your stress got heavier. Your mind replayed disasters like a broken projector. People around you gave contradictory advice and each person sounded reasonable. Do it. Don't do it. Wait. Act now. Protect yourself. Be honest. But in the end, the decision belonged to you alone. No one else was going to carry the consequences. And then you chose. Not the most comfortable choice, not the safest choice. The right one. The one your conscience recognized as the only true path, even if it cost you. You chose integrity over convenience. Truth over comfort. Right over easy, as if something inside you simply could not operate, while betraying its own values. As if compromising your principles felt worse than any punishment the world could hand you. Death watched that and was perplexed, because humans under pressure almost always prioritize survival over principles. That's the wiring. When threatened, the brain chooses safety. The reptilian system values survival above all. But you did the opposite, and even more shocking. After you made that decision, you did not regret it. The consequences hurt. You lost things. You paid for it. But every time you reviewed it in your mind, the conclusion stayed the same. It was painful, but it was right. I'd do it again. Death registered that as anomaly level 2, a consciousness that prioritizes integrity over survival. And then came the third moment, the definitive moment. The one that didn't just confuse death, but broke the pattern entirely. Do you remember that day when you had every right to stop? The day you had already tried enough, fought more than what was reasonable, lost more than was fair, suffered more than you deserved. You had every justification in the world to surrender. No one would have blamed you. No one would have expected you to continue. People close to you even told you, "You've done more than enough. It's okay to stop. You have permission to rest. You have permission to give up. No one will judge you. They were right. Objectively, right. Logic ordered you to stop. Your body begged for rest. Your mind pleaded for relief. Everything in the world said, end it, drop it, walk away, collapse, let it go. But something inside you said, one more day. I'm going to try just one more day. Not because you were naive, not because you didn't feel the exhaustion, not because you were blind to the odds, but because giving up simply wasn't an option your essence recognized. As if your consciousness didn't know how to surrender. As if continuing was the only direction your soul understood. So you got up again, maybe with trembling knees, with a tired heart, with a mind that felt bruised. But you got up, and you took one more step. Just one. Because that was all you could manage. There was no audience, no applause, no validation, no reward. Just you, continuing, because something fundamental in you does not know how to do anything else. That was the moment that completely broke death. Because death witnessed something it had only seen 3 times in 6,000 years. A soul that keeps moving forward, not because it believes it will win, but because surrender isn't a concept its consciousness accepts. That kind of determination doesn't come from optimism. It comes from essence that transcends survival logic. For those who want to go deeper later, there's exclusive material in the description and pinned comment. But stay with me right now because this is where the cosmic mechanics reveal themselves. Death doesn't have emotions, but it has recognition. And when it encounters a phenomenon that exceeds established parameters, the system registers it as a critical anomaly. Your behavior activated that protocol, and then death did something unprecedented. It consulted the Akashic records, the complete archive of every soul that has ever existed. It processed billions of records. It searched for the pattern, consciousness that maintains functionality under total collapse. And it found exactly 3 cases. A warrior in Mesopotamia who suffered a mortal wound, and instead of panicking spent his last hour teaching military strategy to young soldiers so the city could survive after his death. He chose to serve until his final breath. A healer in Egypt who, with a terminal illness, spent her final months documenting medical knowledge so it wouldn't be lost. She worked until her last day. A spiritual master in India who knew death was near and used his final weeks ensuring his disciples were ready to continue without him. 3 cases in 6,000 years. 3 souls who, facing death, chose to continue serving instead of collapsing. And now you, the 4th. Death analyzed what connected all 4 souls. It wasn't religion. It wasn't culture. It wasn't personality. It was one characteristic. All had transcended fear of death, not by denying death, not by pretending it wasn't real, but by accepting it fully and choosing that quality of life mattered more than the quantity of time. And when death recognized a consciousness that had reached an evolutionary threshold that appears roughly once every 1,500 years, it made a decision that contradicts its own protocol. It marked you with respect. Let me explain why this is so extraordinarily rare. Fear of death is the most powerful control mechanism in human consciousness. If you trace human behavior back far enough, you will find that fear sitting underneath it like base code. People chase money because they fear not having resources. They seek approval because they fear rejection. They avoid risks because they fear consequences. They control others because they fear being controlled. Fear of death filters most choices with one hidden question. Does this increase or decrease my survival probability? And if you hack that code, if you accept death without collapsing, you become operational in ways the rest of humanity cannot understand. You transcend the main control mechanism, but the brain is programmed to avoid confronting death directly. When the mind tries to process its own extinction, the nervous system triggers responses designed to interrupt that process. Denial, dissociation, panic, psychological firewalls that prevent consciousness from staring into the abyss for too long. That's why most people, when facing imminent death, collapse psychologically. Not because they're weak, but because the brain is built that way. So how did 4 people get through the firewall? Because they developed the capacity to observe temporal form without being completely fused with it. I'm not talking about intellectual belief. I'm not talking about a comforting idea about the afterlife. I'm talking about direct recognition, pre-verbal and pre-conceptual, that the consciousness observing the experience is not the same thing as the experience being observed. As if part of you knew, not believed, knew that what you truly are cannot be destroyed by physical death. And here's what made your case shock the system. You reached that level without formal spiritual training. The other 3 cultivated it over decades. You didn't have the protected environment. You didn't have the monastery. You didn't have the long preparation. You got there the hard way, by being shattered by life until false identifications burned away. Pressure stripped you. Trauma purified you. Loss dismantled the masks. And what remained was the part of you that cannot be negotiated with, cannot be bribed, cannot be threatened into surrender. When death understood that, the respect amplified exponentially. After death analyzed the 3 historical cases and compared them to your recent behavior, it reached a conclusion that forced a direct contradiction of protocol. All 4 consciousnesses, including yours, had developed the same capacity, called different names in ancient records, but describing the same phenomenon: the ability to remain awake inside collapse, the ability to feel annihilation without losing functionality, the ability to stand at the edge without being consumed by it. Then death made an unprecedented decision. It marked you. And when I say marked, I'm not speaking metaphorically. This is described as a literal alteration in your energetic signature with measurable consequences in how probabilities and life events interact with you from this point forward. Let me explain what it means to carry death's mark of respect. First, the expiration date, encoded into your energetic signature before birth. The moment your physical form was originally scheduled to dissolve, was removed. Not postponed, not extended a few years. Removed from your cosmic file entirely. From now on, your longevity is co-determined between your soul and death based on one thing. Not rational planning, not external conditions, but when your deepest essence signals that you have completed what you came here to do. In simple terms, premature death becomes impossible. You can be in an accident that should kill you. The car can be destroyed, and you walk away with scratches that make no statistical sense. You can face a disease that kills 99 out of 100 people, and yours retreats in a way doctors can't explain. You can be in situations where survival probability is microscopic, and yet you survive anyway. Not because you're immortal, all bodies eventually transition, but because there is now a cosmic block preventing your transition until your deep consciousness gives the signal. I've completed my purpose. I'm ready to depart. Second, death can no longer be used as a threat to control your behavior. Most people live with a constant subconscious fear of death running under every decision like background noise. That fear makes them easy to manipulate. Emotional blackmail works. Social control works. Fear tactics work. Do this, or something terrible will happen. You need this to survive. If you don't obey, you'll lose everything. These mechanisms work because the reptilian brain takes death and extinction seriously. But when you carry the mark of respect, when you know, not as a concept, but as something engraved into your energetic signature that you will not die until you complete your mission, that control mechanism stops working. Threat-based manipulation loses its power over you. Fear no longer drives your choices the way it drives most of humanity. Third, you now operate under what the records call purpose protection. This is not poetry. This is probability mechanics. The universe subtly reorganizes itself so that nothing prevents you from completing what you incarnated to do. The obstacles that appear are obstacles you have the capacity to overcome. The challenges you face strengthen you instead of destroying you. The people who enter your life contribute to your purpose instead of fatally sabotaging it. Not because you became magically lucky, but because death itself guarantees you will have what is necessary to complete your work. And if you're paying attention, you've probably already noticed changes you couldn't explain until now. First sign: thoughts of death lost their paralyzing power. You may think about mortality more clearly than before, but without that visceral terror. Death becomes a neutral fact instead of an existential predator. Second sign: people respond differently to your presence in ways they can't articulate. Chronically anxious individuals calm down near you. Children and animals approach you with unusual trust. You radiate a frequency that whispers to the subconscious, "Death doesn't control me." Third sign: decisions start flowing with a clarity you didn't have before. Doubts that used to trap you for weeks now resolve faster. When you remove the hidden fear of extinction, you choose based on alignment, not panic. Fourth sign: opportunities and resources show up with synchronicity that defies normal odds. The right connection appears casually. A solution arrives at the exact moment you need it. The right person enters at the right time. That's purpose protection operating in real time. Fifth sign: potentially lethal situations resolve in bizarrely fortunate ways. Near accidents avoided by fractions of seconds. Health issues that should worsen mysteriously retreat. Dangers that should materialize simply don't. The mark activates a field that deflects premature death. Sixth sign: your life purpose sharpens with urgency. You can't ignore it. Not speculate. Know what you need to create, what message you need to share, what contribution you came to make. Your internal guidance amplifies and distractions start feeling unbearable. Seventh sign: deep peace replaces existential terror. Anxiety about the future decreases without logical reason. Panic about loss softens because at a level beneath thought, you feel protected until you complete what you came here to do. And now comes the final revelation. The reason this happened to you specifically: when death dug deep enough into your file in the Akashic Archive, it found something that explains everything. Before you incarnated into this body, before you were born into this exact life, your soul volunteered for a mission classified as high risk, high impact. Most souls choose balanced journeys, manageable challenges, gradual lessons, normal difficulties that allow growth without pushing the system to breaking. But there is a rare category of souls that volunteers for the hardest journeys available. Souls that intentionally choose intense suffering, devastating losses, brutal betrayals, and challenges that would break most consciousnesses. Why would any soul choose that? Because there are capacities that cannot be learned in comfort. They cannot be downloaded from books. They cannot be created in safe environments. They must be forged. Capacities like compassion born from personal suffering, resilience distilled from repeated collapse, wisdom extracted from brutal loss, and the rarest capacity of all, the ability to face extinction without collapsing. Only extreme pressure burns away what's superficial and reveals what is indestructible underneath. These souls are called in different records catalyst souls, volunteer warriors, spiritual disruptors. And a few weeks ago, you discovered something devastating. You are one of them. Your soul chose experiences that would force you to develop the ability to face collapse without losing functionality. It chose suffering that would burn away false identification with temporary form. It chose losses that would shatter superficial attachments. It chose fears that would expose your unbreakable essence. Not because your soul is cruel, not because it hates human comfort, but because it knew the specific capacity it wanted to develop can only be forged under pressures most souls would never accept. And when you planned this incarnation, You made an agreement with death itself. You said, "I will enter this life and forget who I am. I will experience the full vulnerability of human consciousness with no memory of my eternal nature. I will face situations that push me to the absolute limit, and when the moment comes where I must face my own extinction, I want to see whether I can keep my essence intact without remembering I am a volunteer warrior." It was a spiritual experiment, the supreme test. Can consciousness transcend fear of extinction even under total forgetting? Even when fully identified with fragile human form? And death agreed to participate, not out of kindness but out of cosmic curiosity, because death wanted to know whether a soul that transcends death easily in higher dimensions, where memory remains, could repeat the feat inside the veil of amnesia, inside the chaos of human life, inside real trauma and real fear. It was a cosmic bet. You bet on yourself. And a few weeks ago, when you faced those 3 crucial moments, collapse without surrender, the right decision under maximum pressure, and continuation when giving up was completely justified, you passed the test you designed before you were born. You proved that even without memory of who you are, even while feeling genuine human fear, even inside the most vulnerable form, your essence still maintained the ability to face extinction without terminal collapse. So, death honored the agreement. It marked you with maximum respect, a mark only 4 souls in 6,000 years have ever received. Your life became living evidence that transcendence is possible in the middle of brutal human chaos. So now, you know what happened a few weeks ago when you did what only 3 others have done in recorded history. You faced total collapse without surrendering. You made the right decision under pressure that should have broken you. You kept moving forward when you had complete justification to stop. And that sequence activated recognition from the most relentless cosmic entity that exists. Death marked you as a soul that transcended fear of extinction even under total forgetting of your eternal nature. That mark canceled premature death, activated purpose protection that reorganizes probabilities, and freed you to operate with radical courage until you complete the mission you chose before incarnating. The coming months will bring devastating clarity about what you came here to create. Intuitive impulses will intensify. Synchronicities will increase. Opportunities will appear that defy rational explanation. And the more you trust the internal guidance that is now amplified, the more fluid your life becomes, because the protection is actively facilitating your path. Your responsibility now is simple but absolute. Live authentically without paralyzing fear, complete your purpose with unbreakable integrity, and catalyze awakening in others through the way you move through life. And when your soul finally signals, "I've completed what I came here to do, I'm ready," death will not arrive as an executioner. It will arrive as a respected companion, honoring the sacred agreement made before you remembered who you are. If you recognize that you earned death's respect through a consciousness that faced extinction without collapsing, write 8888 in the comments right now to amplify that frequency and call in other warriors who carry the same mark. Subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications to receive more revelations about how this mark operates at levels that transform your relationship with mortality, fear, and purpose. Share this video with someone who is facing extreme challenges with an almost impossible resilience, because catalyst souls must recognize each other to strengthen the network of warriors changing humanity's frequency. And for those who want to go deeper into how to consciously operate with the freedom and protection this mark provides, how to identify amplified purpose guidance, and how to accelerate completion of the mission you chose before birth, there's specific material linked in the description and pinned comment. It costs less than a pizza and includes the full audiobook plus a 5-minute meditation guide, with a special bonus if you feel you're ready to strengthen your connection to the part of you that not even death can break. And before you go, click the video appearing on your screen right now to discover exactly how your mark of respect activated the protection of the most powerful archangels. The Force is now working directly to guarantee completion of the purpose you chose before you were born. Together we are stronger.